Welcome to the next episode of Panko Podcast with me, your host, Michael Beltrán, and our esteemed guest, the originator of the podcast Tea Time with Mike and Mike himself.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Michael JoJo Ortiz, everyone. Can we get the fake applause? We don't
ladies
have
and gentlemen, welcome back to another
We
exciting episode
don't actually have the function for the fake
Tea
applause.
Time with Mike and Mike.
Thank you! That's all we needed.
There were like 8 guys on stage with Wu-Tang.
And that was like big energy. Then when they all left, Nas came on by himself and he held it down. He was able to like match that energy.
Right. Yes.
Bro, Busta Rhymes he changed everything.
I mean, he absolutely, but he changed the entire dynamic of the whole show.
Monster. Yeah, man.
I think my favorite part of the whole show
was when he was like messing with the volume.
Well, no, that was great. But actually, when I think it was a DJ, he was like, "Everyone in their 20s make noise," and there's a little bit of noise, little noise. Everyone in their 30s make noise, like a good amount of noise, like like there's a crowd cheering.
It's like, yo, everyone born in the 1930s, make some noise. Yeah! They fucking lost their shit. Yo, everyone who lost all their shit in the Great Depression, make some noise.
So,
we're the World War II vet. No, it was like that.
Well, I mean, what he really said is everyone in their 40s make noise, and like the entire crowd went fucking wild.
My 40s and 50s. Wow!
He did not say 50s.
Yeah, he did. I think he did.
I think you're wrong.
50s.
I think you're wrong. All right, whatever. That's fine.
I might be wrong.
We'll agree to disagree.
Wait, tell me about this delicious, beautiful Florida orange that I'm eating. I asked for a little bit of chicken mousse, and I got an orange on a plate surrounded by dirt.
Now,
when I
for the Pancom Podcast food section, we're going to talk about the dish that Mike Ortiz is eating, which is Ariet's Florida Orange. The Florida Orange
brings us all together because that moment transcends our momentary suffering, my dog. That moment when you taste that delicious shit, my guy, that's the magic, bro. That's why we could wake up in the morning, bro, because that thing is us, dog. That's the magic. God did.
This week's food item is the Ariet Florida Orange, which looks like an orange, is painted like an orange with an orange essence food paint thing. It is a
orange essence food
shush. It is a foie and chicken mousse that encapsulates a sour orange gelée with duck rillette. Underneath it is a bitter chocolate soil. Served on the side is beautiful house-made brioche bread, and it's served on a beautiful plate that it took me such a long time to find, and if anyone ever breaks, they're usually fired.
Wow.
That looks like 2 hands holding an orange and giving it to you.
Yeah.
This dish was created for a Versos Sencillos tasting.
Yeah.
I promised my team we would only do it twice, and now it's on the menu every day.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Every day is duck day. That's how that quote goes, right?
So let's go back to the concert. So... Nick, you're not helping the situation, okay? You're just really not helping the situation.
You want to know how much I'm not helping?
Go ahead.
I realized like 5 minutes ago that I had been recording on my microphone on my computer for a while. So this is a full-blown disaster over here.
And this shocks me so little. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another exciting episode of Tea Time with Mike and Mike.
That's what I'm
we're
talking
missing.
about, though. That's the energy we need for this.
We've got a beautiful Florida orange glazed, basically a food essence paint, covering a sour orange gelée. Gelée.
With the G.
We've got a dark chocolate dirt around it, and it's basically a foie and chicken liver mousse. For those of you who like the more creamy side of life, we do things a little funky down here in the cave. We've got a delicious bread that I'm sure was put together by the legendary queen, Devin Braddock, the pastry chef to end them all. So, ladies and gentlemen, sit down, strap on, and get ready for another exciting episode of Tea Time with Mike and Mike.
This show is called Pancom Podcast, but you are correct.
Well, All right.
Yeah, semantics, right? Let's go back to 3 weeks ago.
People want tea time with Mike and Mike.
Listen, you have a radio show now. Like you're too bit. You're selling things
You
to
know
like
how many times a
Tiffany
month,
and Co.
You know how many times a month people ask me, "Hey, man, when are you gonna do
How many times?
tea time?
How many times?
With my at least like a small handful of times.
a month?
Yeah,
Lies.
no, straight up.
Wow.
There's demand for what we did, dog.
Wow, that's crazy
people
because
want
I
us,
don't even
bro.
think that
The
people
people
ask
want
for
us
Punk
together,
Podcast
bro.
that many times a month. I'll tell you that much.
The people want us together, Mike.
Yeah, I believe it.
You know,
We're a good duo.
we could look at what it could be and look at what it is, bro. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I'm picking up what you're putting down.
I'm putting down a lot of it, bro.
I'm gonna go back again to the concert that we were at.
Wu-Tang, Nas, Busta Rhymes, New York State of Mind tour
I had taken a bright line. I had already had a few drinks on the way there.
with Danny Jimenez
The legend, Danny Jimenez himself,
on his birthday.
on his birthday.
The king of McAllen,
The king of a lot of things.
the king of
McAllen
a lot
is
of
one
things,
them.
and his amazing wife, Chef Julia Ning.
Which she definitely kept us all safe for the duration
What
of
an
the
amazing!
entire.
That was an awesome time.
It was an awesome time.
That was an awesome time.
But in the truck, we were
Remember
in the
those guys
truck-
that got into a fist fight in front of us?
Can I finish my fucking story for fuck's sake? Jesus, I'm
Ladies and
trying to
gentlemen,
get
welcome
into
to
the
another
whole
exciting episode of Tea Time with Mike and Mike. A story from Chef Mike Beltrán.
We've been at this for close to 15 minutes, and we're still welcoming people to another exciting episode.
So we get in the truck. You're in the truck. You're wearing glasses. We're talking about an idea that I had. Then you pretty much trumped my idea because you said that.
Don't use that word with my name, please. Continue. You can even say I Mitch McConnell your idea, but don't say I trumped it.
But Trump isn't just like an actual person's name. There's actual.
Yeah, it's
Can
a
you
it's
look
a
up
word.
the actual
It's- no,
definition
it's,
of the-
it's a word. You were using it.
Can
you were using it
can
correctly.
You look up the definition of the
I
word
shouldn't have
Trump.
said it. I shouldn't have said it.
You shouldn't have, but you
Let's-
just
no,
you walked
no,
into
no.
it. You walked into it,
It's
so
fine,
now I want to know.
it's fine. I
Look
trumped
up the
some- okay, yeah,
definition
yeah,
of
yeah.
the word Trump.
Oh, God.
You could say he drumped it.
There you go. Let's just talk about Trump for the rest of the fucking show. Yo, I'm so disappointed
Well,
in
we were-
Kanye. I'm so disappointed
we were
in
talking
Kanye.
about-
Let's put that down right now. I'm so fucking disappointed
Why?
in Kanye.
Because he left Adidas.
No, because he's going DEFCON 3 against the Jewish people, bro. That
He also
motherfucker
left
is a
Gap.
genius,
He left
bro.
Gap. He left
God damn it,
Adidas.
or was it? God damn it, man. It's like, God damn, man. He made such fucking
How did
beautiful.
How did we get to Kanye?
How could we not have gotten to Kanye?
Okay, go on.
Is more like it, Doug.
Okay. Did you watch the Kanye documentary?
Yeah.
Yeah. What'd you think?
Which one?
I don't know. I
or
watched
Genius?
I watched Genius, but I only watched the episode that makes you like him. And then I didn't watch the other one that makes you not like him.
And then the third one that makes you realize that he is all of us?
Is he all of us?
No.
No.
No, man. Bro, it's like the dangers of success, man. When you surround yourself with yes men, like for like decades, you know, it's like you really believe that you can't say nothing wrong. The next thing you know, you're fucking publicly declaring war against the Jewish people. What the fuck?
How much of that do you think is actual, like, he actually has that thought, or do you think that he has a part of him that thinks if he's, like, weirdly provoking, that it's going to get him more clicks and it makes him matter more?
All of the above.
Right.
I think that, like,
Because I think he's a large, like, it's this huge compilation of shit that he just wants to make himself feel self-important.
It's also probably worth noting that this is a person who's off his meds. Thanks to our sponsor, Aganorsa Leaf Cigars.
Aganorsa leaf is renowned throughout the world for its signature flavor that possesses all the great attributes of Nicaraguan terroir, along with classic Cuban aroma and flavor.
Aganorsa Leaf is pleased to announce a brand new edition of Guardian of the Farm, Cerberus, named after the mythical three-headed hound that stood watch at the gates of Hades. This exciting new Nicaraguan puro uses 100% Aganorsa leaf tobacco and is wrapped in Aganorsa's new Corojo 2012 cover leaf, which adds a level of complexity to the blend, adding light spice and a rich, smooth body to the blend.
When you smoke one of our world-class blends, you will experience the difference between ordinary tobacco and Aganorsa leaf. That's why we say our leaf is our strength. Learn more about Aganorsa leaf and use their store locator and find a cigar shop near you that carries their products at www.aganorsaleaf.com.
The two of us smoke Aganorsa leaf cigars often. We also offer them to a lot of our guests, like, for example, Dave Arvello, who every time I post a picture of a Cerberus mentions to me in my DMs or in a text how cool the band is, which it actually is a pretty slick-looking band. But also, I just want to note, little personal anecdote here, so it's not all totally straight up red. I can say that Michael Beltrán will absolutely not only vouch for the quality of Aganorsa cigars, but you met a Miami legend and handed him an Aganorsa cigar.
I did meet a Miami legend. I was smoking nearby Alonzo Mourning, and we had a conversation about cigars, and he handed me one of his, and I went inside. I bought this exact same cigar, and I handed Alonzo Mourning this Aganorsa cigar, and I said, try this. Thank me later.
I mean, if that's not an endorsement, I don't know what is. Aganorsaleaf.com.
Introducing the newest line from Drew Estate Cigars. 20 Acre Farm is a complex, refined, and medium body cigar with a super oaky and cedary notes accompanied by a whisper of white pepper and a bright hint of citrus. Built at La Gran Fabrica, Drew Estate in Nicaragua, using a velvety, and I mean velvety, Ecuadorian Connecticut shade-grown wrapper.
Under that wrapper is a sun-grown Habano binder and a filler blend of Nicaraguan tobaccos from Esteli and Jalapa in perfect balance with the opulent and majestic Florida sun-grown leaf. Florida sun-grown is also the name of the farm where that tobacco is lovingly grown and harvested by Jeff Borshowitz, who's the guy you see in this video playing behind us, on his pristine 20-acre plot of land near the central Florida town of Claremont. I have actually been to that farm, along with plenty of other cigar tobacco farms in Mexico, Central America, and the Dominican Republic. And what Jeff, who by the way is a very nice guy, there's actually a cigar box signed by Jeff hanging on my wall. What Jeff is doing there is super legit. So it's always cool to see products like his, which is the only premium cigar tobacco grown in Florida, in products from a company like Drew Estate.
Plus, 20 Acre Farm being a Drew Estate product means it's the creation of master blender and Pan Con podcast guest Willie Herrera. Support our guests and sponsors. Get it online. Ask your local cigar shop about 20 Acre Farm by Drew Estate. Learn more about Drew Estate and use their store locator to find a cigar shop near you that carries their products at drewestate.com.
That's right. I'm probably going to smoke one of those right now.
What are we waiting for?
Fair. I don't know, bro. I feel like it's look, like anti-Semitic conspiracies go back like literally forever. Literally forever. That's what makes them so dangerous, you know? That because they go back for so long, it's like fucking dry grass with a fire, because it's been in the undercurrent of humanity like since the Jewish people have been the Jewish people. So like that's what makes it so fucking dangerous, man. And like if he's just looking for attention, you know, it's like I was at Rolling Loud, and I saw the thing that he did, and it like
what did he do? I don't even know. I'm very not like hip.
He did like, dude,
I don't know what's happening.
He did some shit in Rolling Loud that was like WWF Sting off the fucking coming down.
I used to love WWF with Sting. I used to, but so don't let's not use him. But go ahead.
No. That's what I'm saying. Like I'm talking
it was just
about
that dramatic.
That dramatic.
I got
and that masterful of a like.
You remember when Sting would be in like the rafters?
That's what
and
I'm
then,
saying.
Like everything would go dark, and it was that one light on Sting, like at the top.
The guy would be in the ring, like, "Oh, if you're such a tough guy, come out here."
And then he would just be lowering
from the fucking rooftop with a baseball bat behind this guy.
So Kanye did that,
bro. Kanye. No,
he didn't do that.
No, but that would be funny. No, man. What happened was like this. Look, and this is funny that we're talking about this on fucking podcast. Yeah. We got some technical adjustments happening. right in there.
Yeah, just right into the thing.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another exciting episode of Pan con Tea Time with Mike and Mike.
What did he do?
So, all right. So, like, he was beefing with Kid Cudi because Cudi was friends with Pete Davidson, and he was like, yo, Pete Davidson is fucking my wife. We're not divorced. If you're friends with Pete Davidson, then fuck you. Bye. He announces that he's beefing with Kid Cudi.
Pete Davidson has done really well for himself.
He's with Hillary Clinton now. That's good. I can't. I saw that in a meme. I can't take credit for that shit, but that's funny.
was good. I love that.
So, bro,
Because I kind of believed it.
hey, well, bro, he pulls.
Yeah.
El tipo se las trae.
Yeah, he does. He loves him.
Oh my god, and they him. No, so whatever. So then Kanye was announced. Well, Kanye was supposed to headline Rolling Loud in Miami on Friday of the festival, right?
Okay.
And like a week before,
When was that?
it was like a couple months ago,
Okay.
something like that.
Okay.
He's like, oh, I'm gonna come and like I'm gonna, I think July. I think it was in July. I'm gonna headline. He fucking pulls out a week before, and then Rolling Loud hires Kid Cudi to headline on Friday instead.
Great. Good for him.
Kid Cudi comes on stage and he's like, "Oh, y'all came out just to see me?" And I was like, "Oh." So it started getting tense, you know. And like the stage was like a long and skinny stage that ejected all the way out into the audience, you know. So he walked all the way out there.
That's cool.
And then somebody threw a bottle of water and hit him in the mouth, you know, or in the face.
That's disrespectful.
And he was like, you know what? Turn off the music. Yo, if you throw another bottle, I'm getting the fuck out of here.
So someone else threw a bottle.
And he said that, and then he was like, throw another bottle. Oh, God, throw another bottle. I'm getting the fuck out of here. Throw a bottle, I dare you. Someone threw a fucking bottle.
Someone threw a bottle. Yeah, I bet they did.
As soon as it hits him, he fucking turns around. Stop, huff some.
You don't like
away.
Kid Cudi?
I like Kid Cudi,
Okay.
but listen to what happened.
Okay,
right?
okay.
Fucking, they hit Kid Cudi with the bottle. He walks away. He leaves. He fucking like storms off stage. Everyone's like, "Oh man, okay." Everyone just kind of starts walking away, taking their time, meandering. You hear from a stage on the other side of the festival, "I just want to feel liberated." And fucking Kanye comes out on stage in the middle of this guy Lil Durk's set and drops a song that he did with Kid Cudi.
Oh man.
And talk about a diss. The opening lines are, "Now if I fuck this model and she just bleached her asshole and I get bleached on my t-shirt, I'ma feel like an asshole."
I get it.
Anyway, so that was the opening lines that he came out with. Fucking 30,000 people like rushed to see him. It was fucking like the most masterful like manipulation of an audience and of energy and of people that I've ever seen. It was crazy. I'm talking about 30,000 people running at full speed because they heard Kanye. He dropped 2 songs and left. And he didn't get paid for it because he came up as a feature on somebody else's set. At that moment, I was like, bro, this guy is like he's like Vince McMahon and Hulk Hogan rolled into one. Man. When it comes to his ability to market and understand crowds and understand his place in the culture. But bro, like, I think, dude, leading up to this Paris Fashion Week, I was like, bro, Kanye's a genius, amazing, bro. God damn, se la pasó tanto. He shat the bed so hard on that one.
On which one?
I think specifically on giving voice to anti-Semitic conspiracy
Oh, right.
theories.
You're talking about what he did now. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah.
I lost track here.
Yeah. No. Yeah, I think giving voice. Yeah, and you know what? That's fair. He's done a lot of crazy
So
shit.
do you think that he like planned the whole thing at Rolling Loud, that they knew that they would hire Kid Cudi to like take his set, and then he planned it?
I mean, like, I'm sure, I wouldn't be surprised. You know what I mean? Like,
Because I think the guy is incredibly smart, but I think he's just like the screws. They're all in the wrong places, so everything is just a little junky in his brain.
Yeah, I think he's perfect for what he does and what he is, you know? Because he's like somebody that like his whole livelihood is just how it can be, you know? But then the thing is that he's already been so many times that like at this point, the only thing that he can do is declare war against Jewish people to fucking shock anybody.
I just think
that's fucking like, that's like, it's, and say white lives matter, bro. Like, dude, that's like,
didn't he say he was running for president?
yeah, and this is the second time, you know?
He's running for president again?
He's running for president in 2024. He said several times, and he ran in 2022.
He did?
He ran in 2020 also.
Kind of.
He announced that he was running. Then he had a press conference where he was announcing that he was running. But then it broke down crying during the press conference, and then it kind of wasn't taken seriously after that.
I find it interesting that people like just gather around a human that's so dysfunctional.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
I think
This is gonna get a lot of listens on YouTube.
this chicken liver is so good, ladies and gentlemen.
Welcome to Pan con Mukbang.
Mukbang, yeah, that's right.
ASMR. The textures in this are just glorious.
Okay.
Can we get some juicy chewing sounds in the microphone, please?
Go ahead, let me set up another bite.
Oh man,
Send me with a good time.
this whole thing has just already. We're not even 20 minutes in. This is just absolutely.
I want to get deep in this mukbang.
Are we?
I gotta go. I've got a game in NBA 2K My Career that I've got. I've got my dude. You know what the name of my NBA 2K My Career guy is?
No.
Yanku Dinger. Maybe that's a funny sounding name.
Are you gonna do this thing so we can move on to the next part?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another exciting bite of food. This is what kind of bread is this?
It's a brioche.
It's a really mumphy brioche served with this exciting chicken liver mousse. Listen to the chew. Oh, that's delicious. The textures of the animal fat and the butter of the bread. Mm-hmm. So nice. So nice.
If we ever had any sponsors before this, we have lost them all.
That's ads at dademag.com.
Yeah, that's good. So 3 weeks ago, when I was with Mike in West Palm Beach, we were in West Palm Beach.
It's actually pronounced West Palm Beach.
Right. That's not true.
Yeah, but I like that.
Yeah,
I think
that's
that's
good.
funny.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. I got into this SUV with Mike, and we're both in the back, and we're talking about this idea that I had that he totally trumped. My bad.
That's fine. That's fine.
Defunded or whatever we're going to talk about. Whatever we're going to say. We're going to move on.
That's right on.
He Kanye'd the whole idea. And we're having this whole conversation. Whatever. We park. We finally find parking at the amphitheater. What? No, before that, we
went somewhere first.
No, we went to
that little
Fridays.
Food hall.
No, we went to Fridays.
Fridays.
Oh, we went to a food hall.
We went to a Fridays. I mean, we went to a food hall with
We went to a food hall.
and I had a Nashville fried chicken sandwich.
That was before we got there.
Yeah,
Correct.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Yes, that's absolutely correct.
Yeah.
And then, so we went straight to the amphitheater.
Yeah.
We parked.
Mm-hmm.
A gentleman walks up and says, "Hey, we're taking signatures because we're trying to make, marijuana legal." And Mike's like, "I'm super for that. I'll sign this." And as Mike is signing,
wait a minute. This is, ladies and gentlemen, I'm aggressively against marijuana. I fucking hate when some of these kids with their.
why do you have to do it?
Have you ever?
Why do you have to do like a movement with the kids?
Have you ever listened to a lot of this marijuana music? A lot of this so-called. A lot of these guys are dangerous guys, and they're
so when the kid walks up to Mike, and then he's signing this thing, it had just finished raining. Mike is wearing sunglasses in all black, and then I look at him, and he's got this choker on, right? And I'm like, "Hey, Eto, what is this whole thing here?" And then Mike spits to me.
I found it at Blizzard Beach.
That's not accurate at all.
Okay.
That's not the true story. You said, it's a Tiffany and Co. necklace.
Yeah, man, it's fucking crazy. It's
Well, let me finish.
Oh, sorry.
Fucking A.
Ladies and
Jesus.
gentlemen, welcome to another exciting. Things get hot sometimes here on Tea Time with Mike and Mike.
He says it's a Tiffany and Co. necklace, and since we have a relationship now with Tiffany and Co., I got a really nice deal on it. I said, what do you mean you have a relationship with Tiffany and Co? And then Mike tells me, what?
Well, I met Tiffany, and no, we did a pop up with Tiffany. We did a 6-day pop up with Tiffany. That we were on an NDA at the time, so we weren't really allowed to like announce it or anything. But it was mind blowing.
Can we talk about it now? Is it legal?
Now we can talk about it.
Oh, we can talk about it. It's legal.
Amazing.
I love
but it
that.
was amazing.
We've already been like, we've done full podcasts, and then we've had to strip 6 hours of our time
my God.
because people have been like, no, we can't curse for our corporate people. Anyways, I just want to be safe here.
Yeah.
We're in a safe space.
No.
You're in a safe space with us because, we still only have 22 listeners, and, you're in a safe space.
Well, at the end of this episode, it's going to be 2022.
Okay, that's great.
Because that's the year of our Lord.
Okay. So, how did this happen?
Here's the deal. It's actually kind of crazy. Like, Tiffany was doing an event in Miami. They have this event they do. It's called the Blue Book event. And they basically, they take their biggest clients from all of their shops all over the U.S. and Canada and Mexico. And they send them to one place. Historically, it's always been New York. And they give them a tour of basically every piece that Tiffany has released that year, the pieces that they're planning on releasing next year. Excuse me. And the rocks, just like raw jewels, And basically they did it in Miami for the first time this year, and they hired an event company to help them put it together. And it's crazy, bro. This girl that works at the event company, Joanna, I think her name was Joanna. She met me at a little tea tasting that we were doing at Eating House when it was a pop-up.
Wow. So a long time ago.
Eating House brunch pop-up.
Wow.
She met me serving tea there.
That's a lot of years ago.
Of course.
Yeah, a lot now.
That was 2012. That was
10
early
years ago.
2012. Yeah, 10 years ago. A decade
Bum,
ago.
bum, bum.
Yo, Eating House 2012 was the sexiest place.
Eating
in the
House 2022.
2022. Yeah, they're about to open. They're about to
It's
open.
about to be a thing, I think.
That's right. That's right. You can sip JoJo there. And Chef Giorgio Rapicavoli and Alex Casanova, they're Miami jewels. So where was I? So this girl, she met me at that pop up or at a little serving that I was tasting that I was doing there, and then her company was contacted by Tiffany to do an event, and they wanted a tea, somebody that could brew tea like a la minute and offer a tea blending workshop kind of thing. And this girl was like, I remember this guy from that event, and she had been following us on Instagram since then. So they reached out to us, and we ended up doing 6 days with them, where it was amazing, man. They rented out a mansion in Pine Tree Drive. They emptied out every room, and they filled it with displays of jewelry, Mm-hmm. And everybody would walk up.
Where was it again?
Pine Tree Drive, Miami Beach.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, big, beautiful mansion.
Oh, the one that's there's water on both, not on both sides.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
okay,
a couple
got it.
blocks out on each
Yeah, I
side,
got it,
and
I
then
got
there's and then there's a big row of big pine trees down the middle,
Got
and
it.
just beautiful houses on both sides.
Heard that.
Bro, they rented out one of those houses, emptied out all the rooms, filled it with jewelry, and plants, So every room had a jewelry display. Bro, they would take these clients. The clients would walk around, look, see everything in the room. Then at the end, they would walk outside. Then they would say, okay, would you like some 2008 Dom Perignon, or would you like to speak with JoJo Tea? What? To put JoJo Tea in the same sentence as Tiffany and Co. in 2008 Dom Perignon, that's more of an honor than I can ever. Bro, I started JoJo Tea with $2,000. I was selling tea to buddies of mine in a Ziploc bag. I didn't know what an invoice was. I was a yoga teacher. To be operating with fucking on the table with Dom Perignon in the Tiffany's room, it's crazy, bro.
You're
crazy.
a great yoga teacher, by the way.
Oh, thanks, man. It's crazy, bro. It's crazy. It's it's amazing. And now we're doing more we're in conversations to do more private shopping events with them because not everybody wants to drink in the middle of the day. If they want to go buy something really nice and to drink some really high level teas, is a really nice way to do it. You still stay kind of sharp and clear minded. The chances of making a purchase that you'll regret go down a little bit because you're clear minded,
Mm-hmm.
But you can still sip on a balanced and nuanced flavor profile with mouthfeel and aromatic finish, Cheers.
Cheers to you. I mean, I was when you told me the story, it was at a moment that we're standing in a parking lot about to go to a Wu-Tang, Nas, and Busta Rhymes concert.
Yeah. But
And I
Wu-Tang
was-
is for the kids, for the children, man.
And I was like, Mike's got to be fucking with me, right? And then I drilled a little bit more, and it was like, I mean, it's incredible,
It is, man.
right? From the story of starting with what you started with to where you started and how you started and the whole journey, like all the way through, which you could find on a previous episode of Pancom Podcast here. If you go to our podcastography.
Ladies and gentlemen, you can check out our bibliography podcast archives. At
The archives at Dade Mag. That's ads at Dade Mag. Anyways, that whole story to be like affiliated with a company like Tiffany & Co.
Crazy.
It's incredible.
Crazy.
I mean, I was like super taken by it. Obviously, we're in a moment. We're all drinking, having a good time. And it really like, it consumed me a couple days later because it's just like, everything is about the journey, right?
Mm-hmm.
The journey from like when you started, and so many people want like the quick satisfaction, the like, they don't enjoy the journey.
Yeah.
They don't
They want to skip step 1 through 8.
Right. They,
Yeah.
they don't enjoy the process.
Yeah.
And
But
like,
I think that it's like a lot of it has to do though. It's not necessarily that they don't enjoy the process; they don't know how. Like the concept of going from 0 to 1 is a lot more difficult than going from 1 to 10. You know, starting from nothing and like defining what it is that it stands for and defining an identity for it. Like, bro, I think that I was so lucky to have started JoJo Tea in 2011 when like Pub Belly and Eating House and Panther Coffee and
Pub
Zach
Belly.
the Baker.
Big shout out to Jose Mendine, one of my favorite humans on the planet.
Yeah, man. Yeah, and actually, and your homie Matt, also local. Those guys were all starting in 2011, and there was like this hunger for like high quality food, you know, and like real craftsmanship.
Well, I think that you know, I think that not to go too much into Miami food, but like there's been several decades, and I think you could look at the last like 30 years that there's been people that have been hungry at the beginning of decades that have pushed us to where we are today. Mm-hmm. And it's interesting, like,
And I've been hungry at the beginning of decades.
yeah, that pushes them through that, you know. And I think that there's trailblazers, there's legends, and then there's people that are doing it now. Mm-hmm. You know, like us, we're the same age, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like you look at the last like 30 years of food, I think you look at the food and beverage culture in total of Miami. It's like you have people like Norman, Michelle, Douglas Rodriguez that have been doing it for the last 25 years. And you have people like Jose that they were, you know, Jose and Matt and Zach. I mean, Zach's bakery, I believe, is 10.
2011. I remember, but back in 2011, it was like a commune. They were operating out of a house.
Out of a garage.
Yeah.
So you would also find that on the podcastography of Pancom Podcast. It and how it pushes and how long it really takes, right?
Yeah.
Like there's so many like
How
peaks
long? How long? What really takes though? You know, because it's like we've come a long way, but we've got so far to go, dude. Tea especially. Tea is so slow moving. Like you taste the tea, and then like 2 years later, you're like, "Oh, you know what? I'm kind of in the mood for tea." And then like 6 months after that, you're like, "Oh, you know what? I'm kind of in the mood for tea." And it sneaks its way into your life if you let it.
But food is pretty similar. Right? Like you can eat that dish and you could not think about it for months, and then remind yourself in 4 months from now that you really enjoyed the dish that you're having right now and that you want to have it again. I think everything F&B related is all about like an emotion, a moment, a thing. It's an experience that you want to experience again. Sometimes people want to experience it every week. That's not super common. Unless you're talking about like rudimentary kind of like dining of every day or like tea drinking of every day. Not everyone drinks super nice teas every day. Not everyone has a Florida orange that looks like what you just had every day. So I think it's all like...
But everybody eats every day.
Correct. Everyone drinks every day too.
Yeah, but drinking tea is a different thing than drinking water or drinking wine or drinking anything like that.
You drink tea like other people drink coffee?
No, I drink coffee like other people drink coffee. I drink coffee almost every day.
You drink tea every day?
Yeah.
But you're not the only one. Other people drink tea every day.
Yeah.
Okay.
Of course.
But that's what I'm saying is that it's still an act that can happen every single day. It's just
Yeah.
a certain type or level of experience that you may think of, I want to have that certain thing at that certain time.
Yeah, no, I think that the point that I'm trying to make is just that, like,
What
generally,
is happening?
generally people don't go from
There's
not
a carafe.
generally people don't go from not having tea at all to having tea every day. Boom, like that.
No, it's more
It
of like
sneaks its way into
yeah.
your life, you know.
Yeah, I feel that. Oh man, this
Have
is
one of those
a.
pretty Negronis.
Oh, I got a whole thing. Look at this. Look at this.
the best.
This is the first time on Bongo Package. This
Best
is
day of my life. Who was it? That,
This is why that man is the GM of this entire property, because like that is the smartest thing.
Thank you, man.
Just bring him a large cube. I'll pour him from here. Yeah. This is a Cavassier Negroni.
Are we testing this for our dinner?
That is correct.
Wow, this is my.
And I liked it so much that I doubled down.
Yeah.
Oh, you already had one.
This is it.
Thanks to our upcoming dinner sponsor, Cavassier.
I want to be like Cavassier's guy.
I love it.
I love that.
Do you know who Leon Phelps is?
I don't.
The ladies' man. Tim. He was a.
Ooh, it's a lady.
Yeah. He's the face of Cavassier. He's an important figure.
How long have you been chefing it up?
Yes, bro. Yo, you've never seen this? You've never seen this?
Never.
So look, on Saturday Night Live back in the day, you know who Tim Meadows was?
Yes.
He had this character that he would do. That it was the ladies' man, and he was like a late night AM talk guy. And he'd be like, yeah, ladies and gentlemen, this is the ladies' man. I'm sipping on my Cavassier cognac over here. And we're just waiting for some phone calls for some ladies to talk about some love topic. Like, shit. And it was like corny as fuck. But it was hilarious. And then they made a movie and Will Ferrell was in it.
And every time a lady called, he would answer the phone. He would hear a lady's voice, and he'd say, "Ooh, it's a lady."
Yeah. Yeah, it was really good. So the fundamental problem in Miami food and beverage, I think, has to do with the moment. No.
We're talking about
Just to get us a little bit
back on track.
I don't know if back on
Here
track
comes-
is the right
here
term,
comes
but
Nick. Here comes Nick.
you
Hit
were the back and forth was about the experience or the conditions under which you might
Oh yeah, right.
bring tea into your life. And since I'm already here, I will say I get what you're saying, Mike Ortiz, because there are two Mikes here. This is a Mike and Mike situation.
By the way, the fact that my last name is Ortiz, I'm thinking I'm going to name my son Coffees. And his name will be Coffees Ortiz.
That is to this day one of my favorite dad jokes.
That's a pretty good one.
Let's not let that go away. Let's not.
But that's going to be like a first name or a middle name?
His first name will be Coffees.
His
Oh my
first
God,
name-
how funny! That'll be his middle name.
No, a middle name.
Francisco Coffees Ortiz.
Right.
What do we
It's
got
a,
here?
It's a question for life.
Yeah, brilliant. Sorry.
But I do think, and I'm just throwing this out there because I think it's sort of where the disconnect
man.
sort of was.
I was going to pour out of here. Drew, you're nuts.
Incredible.
You're a crazy human.
I think there's an element
A
of
triple
like,
pour for Nick
people,
over there. Jesus Christ, this
pe-
podcast is on a bad track.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another exciting episode. Sponsored by Cavassier Cognac.
We are not sponsored
No.
by Cavassier today. Can I tell you? We'll go back to the experience of tea and food and all that stuff. But the show that
Cheers, man.
Cheers.
Cavassier Negroni.
Cheers to you.
Cheers to you, my brother.
I'm super proud
Cheers
of
to
you.
King.
I'm
Hold
very
on, man.
proud of
fucking
you.
Michelin Poppy. Don't
Okay.
Don't you condescend me, man. I'll kill you, man.
It's been a journey, man.
Of course, bro.
2011 to 2022. We're going into 2023. I mean, how strong do you feel like JoJo is today?
We're fucked. No.
Okay.
No, dude. No, I think honestly, it's really interesting because like I look at it like we're starting a new business in the sense that fortunately we were able to disrupt what tea is in a hospitality setting in Miami. We were able to disrupt that. But like now looking back, I can say
I love that. That's a very
We did, bro. We changed tea culture in Miami, straight up. And if anybody wants to argue with it, like, call me, bro. Like, or send us a DM on.
I'm not gonna argue that.
Like we bro, like from Michael's Genuine to Tinta y Cafe to shared workspaces to like we changed the game in tea, man. Like before us there was no loose leaf tea in Miami, you know. Admari was doing her thing, God bless her, with Kikasam tea. But there was no loose leaf tea in Miami like that was accepted in the F&B culture like that. I'm really proud of that, man. We changed the tea game in Miami.
I can tell you, for me, I've never drank tea in my life. The only tea that I know, and everything I know about tea, is because of you and like what you guys have done.
Yeah, man. Thank you. I mean, like we take it seriously, bro. Like it's a 6,000-year-old thing, and it's just refinement of deliciousness and flavor profile and mouthfeel and aromatic finish, just for the sake of deliciousness.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That to me is fascinating, man. That it's just one leaf. That leaf has so much depth. Like I don't, people that are listening, I don't know if you know this, but like white tea, green tea, black tea, oolong tea, pu'er tea, yellow tea, all comes from one plant. People have been messing with that plant for 6,000 years at least. You know, so I just feel like it would be a crime for us not to have access to some of the more like refined expressions of that, bro.
Right.
Yeah.
I want to. Earlier we were sort of drawing comparisons to food and but it was more of like finding contrasts for the person who's like totally disconnected from the tea world or the experience of tea. Mm-hmm. What would you say is the closest analog? Like the one that comes to my mind, because it's where you and I have gone so many times, is cigars, mm-hmm. right? But maybe there's another one that's closer in your mind.
Interesting question. I think that. So I'm gonna like first I'm gonna say this, that like as you were saying that, I was realizing that tea is analogous to anything that you love, because tea is a process driven thing that is like alchemizing water and energy and time, and like energy is effort and time is time. But that being said, like, you know what I've been comparing it to a lot lately is vinyl, like playing music on vinyl. You know, you can put something on your headphones on Spotify as you're doing your thing, and that's fine. But when you like get yourself a nice turntable and you get an amplifier and you get a sound system best. and you put the needle on and you sit down and you like take that moment, the music rewards you in a very different way.
Two things.
Mm-hmm.
This morning I made breakfast. Yeah.
What'd you
make? No,
make?
it's not. I made. You want to know what I made?
Yeah.
All right. I made toast with brown butter fried eggs.
Wrong. Every day is duck day. I'm very disappointed.
Let me finish. You asked me a question. Let me finish before you just cut me off. Brown butter eggs, finished with a bunch of herbs and capers on top of the eggs in the toast.
When you say brown butter, you mean like a soft scramble?
No. I fried the egg.
Okay.
Once it was fried, I removed it. I browned the butter.
Yeah.
I added the herbs, lemon, and capers,
nice.
and then I put it over the top.
Ah, nice.
Very nice. But as I was doing that, I was listening to a Alice Coltrane. I forgot which album.
Journey in Sachitananda.
It's I'll take a picture. I'll send it to you later. I don't remember, but
She
it was
changed
just
the game, bro.
It was absolutely epic.
Yeah.
Right. Just like, and it is. I mean, I have a large vinyl collection, so like it is that moment, right? Like, like the needle hits the vinyl. It's a different experience of listening to music.
Yeah.
And in the moment that you're living, it makes you feel different. The second time was post concert.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
We're pretty banged up.
Yeah.
Right.
That was a good time.
We're left at the tea room, and you play that one album. That was the last album we listened to. I don't remember which one it was. It was like the
new Denzel Curry?
No. It was the African music, like rock thing that we listened to.
Oh, the Zamrock. I think it was like Ngozi family.
Super intense.
Yeah.
But like, you could like feel it.
Yeah, just real quick, a note about the Zamrock movement. There's this dude Egon with Now Again Records. He's in some kind of hairy, controversial situation now because of MF Doom's rhyme books, but we won't talk about that. and he opened up a record label with Egon that's called Now Again, that they put out just like rare shit, you know. And there's this movement called Zamrock that apparently in Zambia, like Jimi Hendrix tapes and like Led Zeppelin tapes and like kind of psychedelic rock tapes started making their way into Zambia in the early 70s.
I feel like this is what you explained to me that day.
Yeah. Right. And then at the same time, they started getting like electric guitars and effects pedals and shit. And they started making Zambian psychedelic blues that were like informed more by African rhythms. But in 1976, there was a fundamentalist revolution that closed the venues where the rock was played. So in 1976, the music just died. Like the whole movement of Zamrock died. Yeah.
It was great. That was the first time I ever listened to it.
Yeah.
So like, you know, I have moments at the crib that I listen to like some things that really like touch me. That Coltrane album that was given to me by Brittany Rothwell, which is actually another Pancom Podcast Hall of Famer. And I mean, it's one of my favorite albums.
I just want to intersect really quick. I want to say something.
Sure.
You have no idea how happy I am to be here with you right now, talking on Pancom Podcast. Welcome, like a fucking ambassador. This is the best day of my life. Thank you so much, Mike. It's good. It's wonderful to be invited.
This is what you're doing. You're doing this right now.
This is wonderful.
Okay.
This is wonderful.
All right. Yeah, I know. I love you too.
What were you saying?
And that moment there, because obviously I love music so much, and I love learning about new music. I had never heard that before.
Yeah.
And it was like, you know, we had just listened to a bunch of great music. We had watched a fist fight break out 3 rows in front of us.
We have watched some of the best of all time, man. Those guys changed the game. Wu-Tang changed the game. Nas changed the game. Busta Rhymes changed the game.
And what's crazy to me about all 3 of them is that they were still really fucking good.
Really good.
Really fucking good.
Yeah.
And, you know, like all brought different energy to the game.
Mm-hmm.
But they were all so incredibly good in their own way.
Because they're all so refined, man.
But they're all incredibly so different too.
That's right.
And that's the beauty of music, right?
Mm-hmm. It's the beauty of refinement, because
but
then
I think but even furthermore, it's the beauty of like artistry, right? Like, you know, everyone has a different like artistic take. You do tea, I do food,
right? And
they do hip hop, and they do different variations of hip hop,
of course. But then like what that would not like talking about the corollaries between tea and music, like. Imagine, dude, China, like today, to get from Wuyi Mountain to Phoenix Mountain is like a 2-hour drive on a highway that cuts through a mountain. 800 years ago, that shit took 8 months. You know what I mean? You had to like go around mountains to get somewhere, you know? So imagine something with a 6,000-year history in a terrain like that. Like, bro, tea on this village and tea from that village is like, bro, that's Tribe Called Quest and that's Nappy Roots. You know, it's like a different worlds. You know what I'm saying? So in the same way that like that these guys like refine themselves and refine the voice of their music, bro, like charcoal roasted oolongs from Wuyi Mountain versus like tea from a 500-year-old tea tree in some forgotten mountain in Yunnan province, like they're gonna offer completely different flavor profiles and completely different moments when you heat the water and prepare your teapot and make the tea and drink it. Just like when you turn on your record player and you put the needle on and you turn on the amplifier and you turn on your speakers and you sit down and chill, you know?
It was a very important thing for me in my house, like how I set up, how I listen to music. It was like it just needs to be like the focal point. I have like a really big TV that I never use.
Yeah.
And
I don't know. I didn't like, bro, you all right, I guess we're not gonna acknowledge all the texts that you send me. Oh, come watch The Bachelor. Come watch The Bachelor. Like, what's, dude? You love The Bachelor, man.
Just once in a while.
Mike
guilty
texts
pleasures
me,
are fine.
Hey, come watch The Bachelor reruns at least 3 times a week.
I also drink Trulies, and that's totally fine.
So okay, that's fine. You know, jeez.
I actually do drink Trulies, but I don't watch The Bachelor ever. That's
if you're listening from Truly, that's ads at dademag.com.
I'll capitalize on that all day.
We are planning multiple podcast dinners, and we would love to pair every course with Trulies.
He's just gonna take it all. I think the bigger thing too is that like as we get older.
Speak for yourself, dog. I get younger with every passing day.
I think it's important to find like the joys and smaller things in life.
Fuck yeah.
Which is,
and to give ourselves permission to accept small victories as they come, instead of being obsessed with the fucking big things that we dream of.
yeah, but I mean, everything is okay. This is great. So, like, smaller victories add to a larger thing being won, right? Like, I mean, that's the reality, and that's like the biggest problem with everything today. I don't think they understand what it takes to do that, and I think that's the reality of what we live today.
Who doesn't understand that?
People in general,
Just people
man.
in general.
People
Don't
in general.
understand what it takes to go from 0 to 1, to build some shit.
They don't.
Yeah.
I mean, would you say that the percentage is less than 5?
Bro, the thing is that, like, I think that it's tricky because, like...
Well, but it's all... Wait, but I'll also preface this with this. Is like, what do you figure success to be? Right? Like, I figure success to be, like, I don't ever want, like, 50 restaurants and to be in every corner of the United States or whatever. Like, my success, we're sitting in my success. The fact that we have built upon that is icing on the fucking cake. It's not like I'm incredibly blessed, you know? So
yeah, I think
what do people find to be successful, right? Like, are you just getting clicks on social media? Are you just like the face of whatever? Are you what is
I think that, like, the more thorough people are in defining what success is to them, the more the outside world notices and the more they change the world. Because, like, when you define success for yourself, you change the world, because nobody has the momentum behind them that you have. Nobody has a story behind them that you have. Nobody has the reason behind them that you have. When that thing happened to you in 4th grade that made you think about something a certain way, that happened to nobody but you. Like, when people define success for themselves is when they change the world. When people fucking let the Kardashians or Kanye or somebody else define success for them,
right?
Then even if they're successful, people throw a bottle at them on stage. Nobody would throw a bottle at Kendrick. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying to compare fucking Kid Cudi to Kendrick, but what I'm saying is that, like, when you're successful, like, from the roots of your, like, psycho-spiritual being, it's rooted in reality.
But the problem
bro.
is that in today's world, like, everything success related is related to dollars in the bank account.
Yeah.
Right? But in reality, there's some people in the world that figure success to be like, I'm going to open a Quickie Mart and I'm going to provide for my family of 4 and I'm going to do that for the rest of my life. And they find themselves successful, and I find that beautiful.
Yeah, but they're also measuring it by dollars in the bank.
Are they really?
Yeah, because they need enough dollars in the bank to send them to the private school to make the fucking kid a doctor.
Maybe their entire thing was like they wanted to have the best Quickie Mart in whatever city they're in.
Okay, God bless them.
But it doesn't mean that it's related to dollars in the bank account.
I think that if it's like if I don't know, I think that, like, something, because I'll tell you what. Look, when I was in college, I took a lot of acid. And I fucking thought that, like, capitalism was by definition evil. I thought that, bro, like, look, I'm not, I don't come on, I love you, bro. And like we had our show together. I don't come on your show to skate around topics. I'm going to talk about the truth, you know? Like, bro, fuck, I don't know. I lost my train of thought now.
Oh man, it was such a good train of thought.
There was
How are you gonna lose
acid.
that?
There was acid, and your thoughts.
It
on
was such a
capitalism
good
in
lead up.
college.
Yeah, that so look, like when I first like took acid in college and started thinking about capitalism, like, I grew up in a family of banking, you know. Both of my parents were bankers. And, like, bro, my dad dedicated his whole life to financing and to banking, and he, like, been obsessing. And then in 2008, he lost everything when the crash happened. You know what I mean? And then, and I felt, mistakenly, I felt that business, back then, I felt that business was by definition wrong, by definition evil.
Sure.
Because even if you dedicate your whole heart and soul to it, it could come around and just take everything that you want based on the whims of a market. And furthermore, ultimately, if you're selling a product, I thought you must be exploiting something, because you're taking a product and trading it for this, like, currency.
Sure.
But I feel now like money is a value of energy. The amount of energy that it takes to make $1 is something that like you don't know unless you've made that dollar, bro. You don't know unless you've had to make a dollar. You know what I'm saying? And the amount of work that it takes to make that dollar and to build on that and to grow on that, while doing it in a way that you believe in and doing it in a way that you're sharing something.
Well, I mean,
that you don't feel that you could look yourself in the mirror at the end of the day and feel like, bro, I feel good about every single sip of my product that was taken, and I know that my product was sipped on thousands of times today and every day, and I know that every single one was good, unless somebody se quemó la boca, pobrecito. But other than that, bro, I know that every single sip of tea was a moment of peace. You know what I mean?
Well, but I think you nailed it, right? Like, okay, so like equally, like my dad also was. I was born into a family of like business.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of business was happening. Business was good, then business was bad.
Yeah,
and then business went away.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So I had this negative connotation of like what business really was. Right. It's like. Takes family away from you, like you don't have time with your family,
exactly.
And so on
by
and so
definition,
forth.
yeah.
By definition, right? But then when you attach it to something that means more than just dollars,
Mm-hmm.
right? Which is something that, for me, we have to make money to do the things that we do.
It's that the dollar is the unit of measure. You
yeah,
know?
but it's also
if you want to do something that costs
it's also
dollars,
the unit of execution, right? Like
right,
you
exactly.
You need the dollar to be able to execute what you want to execute.
Exactly.
What is it that you want to execute to the world?
Exactly.
What is it that I want to execute to the world? What you want to execute to the world?
And it doesn't matter how noble that dream is if you don't have the resources to make it happen.
Exactly, but you need to be smart enough in the process, and you need to train yourself in the process to be ready to do that.
Of course, because then like the way in which you amass the wealth is going to dictate the context in which that action is received. If you fucking raise your money by fucking selling children to whatever, and then you make all your money and you make an orphanage, it's like you will justifiably be called a hypocrite. You know what I'm saying? And that's obviously an extreme example, but I'm saying
that is an extreme example. What I'm trying to say is,
well, an exciting episode.
Okay. I think what you do for a living is beautiful.
Thank you,
I
man.
think that what we do for a living is beautiful because
Yeah.
we're providing an experience, whether it's a moment of peace,
A moment of deliciousness
it's a moment of like
that transcends. man.
experience, a memorable moment,
Mhm.
something that you share with somebody, whether it's this dish that you're having or the music that's playing.
Or by yourself, bro. Sitting down at the bar and having a venison at the bar at Ariette by yourself is
a good time.
Gold.
That is a good time. Yeah, I love the idea of that moment, and I am incredibly proud to be able to provide that for people. Now, things I have said in the past,
and really quickly, and because I think that this is important, because this is something that I'm also really proud of, to become recognized as an authority of that moment, to become recognized that, bro, like, okay, these people have been putting over a decade into just that moment of the bite, that moment of deliciousness. Everything else happens. Yeah, everything else is going on. But that moment of the sip, that moment, man, like to be recognized at the level that you've been recognized, at the level that I've been recognized is bro,
well,
like what else can we ask for?
It's equal to like that moment you have with music, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I just today listening to that music, that moment of music, being able to cook some food for people that I care about, for myself, for like all of that stuff really matters to me. And it matters so much more than the dollar.
Mm-hmm.
The dollar just makes me, it gives me the ability to make it happen.
Of course.
Right? And you need to understand how to spend that dollar, how to make it make sense, how to make it make sense for everybody in the room. And sometimes like I'm sure there's people that don't agree with the way that you spend money or agree with the way that I spend money, but it doesn't matter, right? Like,
well, I think it depends on who it is.
Can I just? I think that there's.
We have a caller?
Do we have a caller?
No,
we don't have a caller.
No,
Norfolk, Virginia. Hello.
Oh
goodness,
man,
we
that
don't
would be
have a caller.
so good. Can you imagine?
I think that this question, this conversation brings to mind a post from past Banco podcast guest Nidal Ahmad.
Big shout to Nidal.
Big shout to Nidal. No, not Nidal Barake. But,
All right, well, big shout to Nidal Barake because I love that guy.
yeah, but Nidal Ahmad, Pincho Factory co-founder.
Oh, word. Oh, that Nidal.
Yeah,
Okay,
Nidal
yeah,
Ahmad.
that guy's dope too, man.
He recently put
Big shout to
an Instagram story soliciting answers to the question, and I will pose the question to the two of you because I think it kind of goes to what you're talking about here in a way. How do you want to be remembered? Like, what is at like a root level when you're gone and people are saying like each of these mics, like Mike 1 and Mike 2, and I'll leave it to you to decide which one is 1 and 2, did X. Like, what do you want people to actually say in the broad strokes?
You're definitely Mike 1, right?
There
Like,
would
you brought me onto the show.
There would be. You're welcome. There would be the honest, like, pardon my like poetry, but there would be no greater honor than to be an echo in the teacups of Miami and of America in the future, man. A cup of tea is a moment of peace.
Well, I mean, it's the history of tea. It's so deep.
Yeah,
Right?
and like the history of tea is nothing without the people that dedicated their lives to making it available. You
Right.
know, and to teaching people how to interact with it, and it's like it's an honor to be in that family around the world.
To not to be an asshole about it, but like if you had to
Be an asshole, Nick.
yeah, like
You're good
in
at
like
it.
2 or 3 sentences, like Mike Ortiz did what?
Huh. At the end, I want people to say that I changed American tea culture. That I changed tea culture. That's it. Like that. Like everything else is in service of that. Because in that I changed American tea culture. That's it, man. Because that practice of heating water and making tea and drinking it. Everybody wants to drink delicious tea, but nobody wants to fucking heat water because that takes energy. You know what I mean? That practice of heating water and making tea and drinking it changed my life. And if I can like meaningfully introduce that to America in a way where we as a culture are heating water and making tea and drinking it and taking a moment, giving ourselves that moment, you know what I mean? To transcend the moment, the worries of our fucking day-to-day life, man. It's like, I think that would be amazing.
How would you answer that, Mike number 2?
Yeah, I'll take the number 2. That's fine. I mean, it's a heavy question, right?
Yeah. But I mean, I think that like the way that you live your life answers it, bro. You like something that I think is important to remember that like when I think of Ariette, your menu like this restaurant in any other city in the world would be like, what the fuck is this? But this menu in Miami is like, this makes sense and is dope. This makes sense and is what Miami aspires to be on a plate. Like, I think that you show us like what deliciousness in Miami can be. Like that's
Man, that's incredibly sweet, and I don't even know how to answer that.
Is that how?
Okay, so for me, I've thought about this a lot because like we've obviously gone through some growth. We've had a very good year. Accolades are great.
God bless you, bro.
Accolades are amazing. Things have been very good. I think for me personally also it's like reining it in and like being having a perspective on like what's happening, which is very important on growth. If you can't ever sit back and think about like where you came from, that process, that journey, and then where you're at today, and then where you want to go, right? If you don't ever have that moment, you're not going to have a clear vision of where you would like to be.
Wait, to be clear, if you don't have that moment of just like stepping back and taking perspective,
right?
Yeah,
you're not going to have a good idea of like where you want to be in 10 years from now.
Of course.
Because like Ariette turns 7 in January.
wow, Jesus Christ,
It's crazy, right? 7 in January. That to me, it's still like it blows my mind. We
Bro, I
turned
remember
7 in January.
sitting with you in the front porch when you were like, we're gonna open this restaurant called Ariette. What? You went to Belen? I went to Columbus. You play football too? We should be friends and hang out, dog. Anyway, Ariette's gonna be a new American restaurant, bro.
And that's an interesting moment, right?
You remember that?
It's an interesting moment because I was
doesn't
incredibly.
remember.
I don't totally remember that. I was probably a couple of Jamesons and Guinness deep, but I think the interesting moment is me saying it's a new American restaurant because it's not.
Of course.
The day that I decided that I was gonna like shed all the insecurities of who I was and where food should be and what the food I really want to cook is the day that this restaurant changed forever. And it's the day that I said that, like, I want there to be another kid from Cuban descent to say, like, there was a dude doing Cuban food that was different. And something that they thought, like, if our country wasn't where it is currently and where it's been for the last 60 years, maybe the food would be like this.
Yeah. Shouts to Chef Miguel Macens. I feel like he would very much resonate with
100%.
with that statement. Yeah.
100% he would. And, you know, today where I'm at is like, I just want to have an impact for another generation of people, of cooks like me that may be a little bit lost. Who are we? What kind of food do we do? Is it wrong to change it?
Yeah.
Is it wrong to like turn it on its head and say like, fuck that, I know that's the way it was supposed to be. That's the way that people do it. Is it wrong to change that? It's not wrong to change that because that's what you believe in. And for me, I feel like that's been the entire journey.
It feels like you it seems like you want to be like a lighthouse, a lighthouse for young aspirational Miami chefs that are trying to like define what their food is, but have never seen that food on a plate before. You know what I mean?
I was in New York last week and I was with a bunch of like Michelin brass people, right? Like great people, super inviting. I think like very wholehearted people
Hospitality,
that just like really
live.
care about good food, right? And I said, you know, like I think I'm the first chef from Cuban American descent to like win a star. Have a restaurant that won a star.
Really?
Yeah. And they were like, you know, I think you're right.
Wow, man.
And I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty sure that I'm right. It resonates to me, but it doesn't resonate to a bunch of other people because we're just like a small blip. Like we're just in the Caribbean, just a small thing. But it digs so deep to me because there's a whole generation of humans that sacrifice their entire life to give me this opportunity. So if I can just guide people, couple cats, doesn't matter, to have their own expression in the future, then I've done my job. And I think that's what I would like to say.
If you can guide people.
If I can guide a couple people like me, because I had very little guidance.
Oh, word. To help them like define their career and define their.
And it could be in any kind of cuisine. It could be in any kind of thing. It could be in Haitian food. It could be in Dominican food. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
How do you see it? How do you want it to be seen? How do you want to tell your story?
Nashville fried chicken. We do Nashville fried chicken drive-thrus all around the city.
No.
You can just pull up, pick up your set. This is the future. Nashville fried. Dude, I went to Nashville one time.
But are you gonna serve tea with the Nashville fried chicken?
If the people want it. I went to Nashville one time and I left. I was depressed that I couldn't have that hot chicken. Chef, just think about it. You don't have to give me a hard answer now. Just think about it.
It's a hard no.
It sounds like, and I'm only jumping in because I think this is like maybe the first time that it's been framed this way in a conversation on the podcast. It's like of Ariette and the role that Ariette plays as like as a model, not necessarily for specifically Cuban food, but like any kind of, maybe you think of it more broadly than this, but where my head goes is like how somebody
think about it. Hot fried chicken, Nashville fried chicken on a drive. I'm sorry, Nick. I'm being an asshole.
So, somebody who lives
Shocker.
like in a diaspora would approach their food, right? Somebody who lives who grows up in a culture that is being preserved away from its home, which again applies to say Haitian food or Dominican food or. But not to every.
But Cuban food most blatantly. There's a fucking embargo.
Right. Well, that's why I'm saying like I'm saying specifically like Haitian and Dominican because both of those are countries that like have been in different ways. Fuck the embargo, the dictatorship that has affected how
You got him going.
how the culture inside of that country has been affected in a way that like Mexican culture has not been affected, but Haitian and Dominican food have been.
Of
right?
course, but the dictatorship and the embargo are part of the same conversation.
Yeah, they're part of the same conversation. But I mean, fine. But then I guess we can start to talk about how like fritas were affected by like Russian nuclear warheads or something. So like at some point,
Were they?
I mean, I guess if we're gonna get that, if we're gonna treat the relationships that loosely.
Are we treating the relationships that loosely, Nick?
I mean,
I
you
think
are.
we are.
You are. I'm not.
I am?
Yeah, you are.
You think so?
I think so.
Ooh, I can't wait for this. I'm gonna step back now.
What relationship am I treating loosely, Nick?
I think that we're talking about how one particular dictatorship affected the cuisine of a nation, and you are making the distinction between Cuba and the rest of the what makes Cuba unique, the embargo. I don't think the embargo makes Cuba unique. I think the Cuban dictatorship makes Cuba unique.
Are they not part of the same conversation? Like I feel like you're like begging for an argument.
They're
right
part
now.
they're part of the same conversation in the way that tea and razor blades are part of the same conversation.
Strongly disagree. God damn it! Razor blades cut people if you intend them to. Like, bro, I strongly disagree. And if you're looking to get me like risen, here.
Well,
excuse me 1 second.
I'm not looking to rise anybody.
Dude, the embargo was a direct response to the dictatorship. Razor tips have pinga to do with tea, so I don't see the connection. With all due respect,
razor blades as being a tool in the harvest of tea.
In some cases, on two mountains,
right? And Cuba is not the only country that's had an embargo imposed on it by. So the embargo is a tool. The embargo is a response to the root problem of the dictatorship.
Whatever you want, bro. I don't know, man. The point that I was trying to make was this, right? We are an exile community, and that our parent company has an embargo on it. As a direct result of the dictator that you are saying, and the dictatorship that you were saying. So I'm not disagreeing with you, bro.
Right.
All right.
But what I'm saying is that the what has impacted the cuisine of that particular country, of that island, is the dictatorship.
Oh, you heard it here, folks.
Well,
Oh.
yes.
But that's accurate, though.
I'm not disagreeing.
I mean,
I don't understand the point that we have to fucking interrupt the conversation to make it clear that the dictatorship, of course.
Okay, well, I mean, if we're talking about who's interrupted what, you jumped in to insert the embargo into the conversation of the dictatorship and what affected the diaspora's cuisine.
Of course.
So I'm not the one who started interrupting things to correct the politics of the conversation.
All right, I'm sorry, man.
Okay,
so.
No, it's not whether you fucked up or not. We can have a disagreement about it, but
we're not even disagreeing. The point that I was making was that we're an exile community who is not only located from our mother country, from the dictatorship, but also by an embargo. That's the only point I'm trying to make. Of course, the embargo is a direct result of the dictatorship. We are a heavily traumatized community, and this conversation that's happening right now has been happening since fucking 1959. And bro, and Nick, at the end of the day, bro, I love you to death, man. I didn't mean to. I'm not trying to fucking there's muckrake shit here. But what's up, bro?
I know, Danny, get out of here. Go away, Danny.
There's a lot of hand hearts happening.
So that's what it is, man.
I mean, we are community that was allowed to grow, right? Like we were not allowed to grow,
and as such, we took over a city and flourished very much.
Right, very much. So,
but it's like the limitation provided the friction for the.
But the creativity aspect of what, like, let's just go back to like what I do. I'm gonna make this more about me. Okay, I'm gonna make this more about me. The creativity aspect of what I do. Food, creativity, like being who you are, was it wasn't allowed to happen, right? There was not allowed growth within creativity and artistry when it comes to like anything in Cuba for 60 years. So what I'm saying is the food that we do today is a direct result. If people were allowed to grow, if people were allowed to have their own thought, if people were allowed to have the tools that they needed to be successful, right? Maybe the food would look like this. And that's the impact that I would like to have on the community.
That's what makes your food beautiful. That it's inherently aspirational. It's like a fucking dream. It's the taste of a dream of freedom, of food. It's a taste of like what does freedom taste like? in its most aspirational sense, with the classical training that you had. You know, it's like that's what makes your restaurant so beautiful, man. Like you deserved a star from before the star, and you know, whatever. Like people want to get on me for writing whatever. It is what it is, bro. You've deserved a star for a long time. You changed the city.
People get on you for that?
Of course.
I'll throw out there, by the way, that like that all of those things are true of Mike Beltrán. But I think that in some way, even if like less explicitly and less deliberately, they're true of you too, right? Because you bring a certain perspective to tea culture.
Straight up.
Like in a way,
Amen.
like there's an aspect of it that's like, what if this guy had been in Havana or wherever you might have been born in Cuba?
Mm-hmm.
What if this guy had gotten into tea and yoga in? I'm gonna just throw out random cities. I don't know where your family's from, but in Ciudad Ávila or whatever, like
Cienfuegos, La Habana.
right, like in a way, there's an element of that, like the way that you approach it, the way that you talk about it, the way that the music that you play while you're drinking tea, like all of that shit. Like there's, even if Mike Beltrán at Ariete is doing that in a more deliberate, explicit way, that idea I think kind of like lives in you, right? Yep. Like I don't drink tea with you and feel like I'm drinking tea with, I don't know, somebody from China who's several generations deep into this tradition. I feel like I'm with somebody who speaks my language in a way too.
Yeah, but I think that we make when you were in 1997 and at a party and you were 12 years old. And Esa Morena came on. You see what I'm saying? I don't even need to finish that sentence. You know what I'm saying?
and everybody and somebody broke out the tea.
Bro, the people like what I'm saying is if when in that moment somebody would have walked up to you and been like, "Hey, when you're 35, what are you gonna want to eat?" You would have imagined a plate at Ariete. You know, and if you would have walked up, hey, bro, turn that shit down, bro. You're gonna make me go crazy right now, dog. Shout out to DJ Laz, the patron saint of the 305. The fire, ladies and gentlemen.
So good. Anyway, sorry.
Yo, the shit that was going down on dance
floors.
floors.
I couldn't help it.
Yo.
I was fucking chugging absolute vodka and
oh my god!
And when I was 13, not 12, 13.
Yeah, it was a sweaty mess that was happening on those dance floors, bro. It's a bunch of teenagers slamming their bodies against each other. Anyway, no, but I feel like it's like you know, like bro, like in this because okay, so look, I'm thinking right now about there's this kind of tea, Phoenix Mountain oolongs, right? We carry two Phoenix Mountain oolongs, one called Milan Xiang and one called Duck Shit. Those two teas, like Phoenix Mountain it's like a lightly oxidized oolong, which means that the leaves are plucked, then they're rolled and bruised, then they're allowed to sit and like darken for a little bit, then they're roasted over charcoal, just like really lightly. So you got a kind of like fruity, floral flavor palette, stuff like lychee and carnation and toasted almonds, stuff like that. And it's like so dynamic, you know, like you taste it and you get the fruit and you get the flour and you get the toasted nut and you get like some coconut oil stuff. And it's like, it's a tea that tastes like Miami in a way. Because it's like the dynamics of like growing up, going to the fucking quinceañeras and like hearing about your friend, like hearing about your friend sneaking off into the side of a quinceañera and losing his virginity to some loca behind a bush. Like that's how we grew up, bro. That's how we grew up. Yeah, and I think that like we can taste it. Like I hope that like in a tasteful way, you can taste that at my tea room, you know. And I hope that because like those were the most exciting moments of our lives, man. Being young teenagers in Miami, doing things that we knew were dangerous and like, but that Miami is the only city in the world where like teenagers were doing that. Remember, like I remember being 17 years old and some Lourdes girl's dad was like an owner of Club Honey. We would all go to Club Honey in South Beach, like 17 years old, you know, and we'd all go like clubbing in South Beach and just drink until 11 o'clock in the morning and like live like kings. We were fucking idiots. You know what I mean?
Right.
But it's like, I feel like growing up with that like Caribbean social dynamic of Miami, of the quinceañera life and the booty bass and all that shit. Miami is the best city in the world, bro. I've been to a lot of cities in the world, and Miami is the best city in the world, man.
I'm gonna jump in here and note. I'm gonna let Michael Beltrán do what he wants here, but we are coming up on the hour and 30 mark pretty soon.
So what is
Rage Against the Machine?
Oh man, they canceled the rest of their tour.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
because Zach is having some health problems, I heard.
Right. I mean, I went to their concert in DC
Yeah.
with Falco and Carlos.
Oh, dope.
And it was great. But Zach was already like on one leg,
Damn, man.
so he was sitting the whole time.
Yeah.
And then I heard they canceled the rest of their tour.
Bro, I saw them in 2007 in Rock the Bells in New York. And that was the most, it was like when, bro, we saw in that show, Nas, Wu-Tang, EPMD, Public Enemy, Cypress Hill, Talib Kweli, Mos Def, The Roots, Erykah Badu, all of those guys. Yo, and then Rage came on. Bro, I'm not exaggerating. There must have been like 50,000 people there. It was Rock the Bells 2007 New York in Roosevelt Island. Bro, when Rage Against the Machine started playing, my feet left the floor.
I bet.
And didn't come down like until I was like 100 feet away.
I bet.
It's like an ocean.
I mean, it was like that. I mean,
energy.
we were sitting in the rafters for that concert, and it was like, it was such an intense, and
wizards,
I mean,
bro. Those guys are wizards, man.
We're
Those guys
also
are wizards.
older, and they've been around for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I can relate.
I stopped liking them when they got political.
Right. Well, so I mean, I can relate all their songs to like a moment in my life.
Yeah.
And a thing that was happening in my life that I would just listen to that one song over and over. And even now, like there's songs that I listen to theirs like over and over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Because it just like.
Yeah, but when they first, like, when I first became aware of them was like elementary school, MTV, Bulls on Parade. I was like, what is this, bro? Like,
it's great.
Yo, I would just like turn that all the way up and jump on the couch like an idiot. That shit was fire, man. Remember the presidents of the United States? It's lump, it's lump, it's lump, it's in my head. Remember that? Millions of peaches, peaches for me. Remember that?
So now that we've,
ladies and gentlemen, this has been another exciting episode of Tea Time with Mike and Mike. We hope you've enjoyed yourselves. We've been sipping Negronis and sipping champagne and eating on the sexy livers of chickens and fattened geese.
Yeah, fat geese.
Ladies and gentlemen, we hope.
I think it's important. It's important to note now that you have like Tiffany and Co. collaboration and things.
Pa que sepan la gente, what's up? We made it.
What is the possibility in other than really interesting Instagram posts? What is next for JoJo Tea?
Bro, honestly, like, okay, what is next for JoJo Tea is that I'm focusing specifically on like how to change how people drink tea at home. 110%. I think that like we've been very lucky to have success in changing the way that people drink tea at restaurants. And that's amazing, in Miami. If you're willing to spend $6 on a cup of tea at a restaurant, bro, if you're willing to spend $3 on an at-home tea serving, you're drinking some high-grade level tea. If you're willing to spend $10 on an at-home tea session, you're drinking luxury-grade, world-class, top-shelf level tea. And you can brew that shit 15 times. And you can a bottle of water, a bottle of wine that you spend $60 on, you can get 4 nice cups out of it. A tea, you can brew it 15, 20 times, and that serving is going to cost you $10. Like, we define luxury tea as anything that's over $1 per gram. And if you want to like brew your tea back to back to back multiple times, you're going to want to use like 7 grams of tea, Like a lot of tea and a little bit of water.
So how do you change that?
I'm working on it.
Okay, but how are you working on it?
Step 1, Create interesting videos on Instagram. Show
Got it.
that like tea is not that serious. We don't take ourselves that we take tea seriously. We don't take ourselves seriously, bro.
Heard that.
Tea is you don't have to be a fucking Buddhist monk in a mountain in Taiwan to enjoy tea.
I love
However,
that idea, though.
if you are on a mountain in Taiwan enjoying tea, you're gonna have some really enlightening breaths.
For
you
sure.
know? But what's next for JoJo Tea is to show what tea can be. Not just like so far, JoJo Tea has been focused on showing you everything that you'd ever want out of a tea. We are that. You want a tea that's historically significant? We are that. You want a tea that's organic? We are that. You want a tea that's master crafted? We are that. The next step is to show you what can tea be beyond that. You know, what can tea, how good can it get? And how good can it get? How good can your moment of peace get? Like at the end of the day, it's not about the tea. It's about you. It's about you taking the moment to heat the water and make the tea and drink it and enjoy the 6,000 years, the trillions of hours that went to making that tea taste like that. That particular tea on that particular mountain, from that particular village, from that particular strand of the bush. Trillions of hours, generations went into making it taste like that.
Trillions.
Yeah, bro.
That's a lot of hours.
6,000 years.
It's a lot of hours.
Quadrillions. Quintillions of hours.
You sound like Andre right now.
Andre Benjamin?
3,000. No, 3,000. Yeah, Andre 3,000.
Wow, damn, that's an honor, man. Thank you for saying that.
Well, now that we know the future of JoJo Tea, Nick, what do you have other than embargo talk? I've never been known to be the one to lighten up the conversation, but here I am.
That sounded like more of an instigation.
Weird.
What I have is the wind down. This is where we wind things down, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, wait, I have an ad that I was supposed to read.
Oh, yeah?
Ladies and gentlemen, this show was sponsored by JoJo Tea. JoJo Tea is the finest tea company in the history of the world, and actually the dopest tea company in the history of the world.
Finest and dopest.
And tea has been around for 6,000 years, so we're lucky to have the dopest of the dope in Miami,
Trillions of
Florida.
hours.
If you want to
So
know,
many.
our best product is the JoJo Club. It's a seasonal subscription for $78 per box. I send you the teas that I'm most excited to drink each season. You can get aged stuff. You can get fresh stuff. But it's all historically significant, authentic stuff based on what's coming up. And October 26th, I'm going to Taiwan for 3 weeks. I'm going to be bringing some dope stuff back. Yeah, bringing some teaware back for the JoJo website. Follow us on Instagram at SipJoJo. Follow me personally at Michael the JoJo. I'm DJing as well, and just having fun and creating.
He's got a radio show.
I've got a radio show.
He's
It's
got a
called
radio
Villain Paradise, and I'm also a part of Chill Paradise with Afro Monk. We
Pancom Podcast
Chill
Paradise.
Chill Paradise does more like funk and soul and like electro hip hop, and then Villain Paradise we play a lot of hip hop and guaguancó and African rock and samba and everything.
I like the sound of it.
It's dope. It's fun.
Good stuff.
Hip hop is like the backbone of the show, but we go far out and come back.
Yeah.
Weird that you go far out and you come back. I'm shocked.
Welcome to the future.
I didn't even think that would
Welcome
be a
to
thing.
the future.
Weird.
So this is where we do our wind down. Everybody recommends a thing or multiple things. It could be as many things as you want. Could be a thing you read, watched, ate, did, a place you went, thing you listened to, whatever it might be. Michael the JoJo, if you'd like to go first, you can, or you could pass it off to other people.
Yeah, I want to recommend an album called Itadi. Itadi by an artist called Itadi. Itadi.
Got it.
And it's there's a country in Africa called Togo, Togo, and it's like Togo kind of funk, and it's beautiful. And whenever anybody whenever anybody asks me like, dude, do you have any musical recommendations? I'm like, just listen to Itadi. That is a rhythmically fascinating music that needs to be heard and enjoyed more and needs to be better known. So Itadi from Togo.
Love that. Is it my turn?
I mean, if you'd like it to be.
When was the last time that we did this?
This podcast?
Yeah. The only reason I ask is because the last 5 weeks have been really intense. There's a lot of travel, and I'm like a little burnt out.
Travel? Where'd you go? I saw you were cooking somewhere.
So the last 5 weeks have been Atlanta back, Charlotte back, Atlanta again
Cool. All right.
for 5 days to do 2 Michelin events, and then New York and back.
Hell yeah, man.
So the last time was with Ashley Moncada. That was, I don't know, maybe 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago. So that was before Atlanta.
Probably before all these trips.
Yeah, great. So I have 2 recommendations, food-wise, none of which are in the city, just because I've dined elsewhere. I actually have 3 recommendations.
This is a global podcast.
Global, yeah. We're, there it is. So in Atlanta, I ate at a place called Marcel. I may have shouted out before. It's incredibly delicious.
Marcel.
They kind of like market themselves at a steakhouse, but like they have some really good stuff. Cocktails are great. Service is great. The space itself is great. In New York, I ate at a Korean barbecue place called New Wanjo. Fucking delicious. So good. I was so full. It was painful, but it was so incredibly delicious. Yeah. And then I ate at a 1-star in Brooklyn called Francie.
I've heard of them.
Man, they were just like, the food was great. So incredibly well executed. Like everything was like super precise, but the place was fun. It was engaging. And then also the humans that own it were incredibly inviting, just like really like down to earth people, which I loved. And like the place was so down to earth. It was great. Everything was great about it. The food, the company, the whole thing was like just, it was a great experience. So those are my 3 parting recommendations. I also started watching Andor on Disney.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
What is that?
It's about Cassian Andor. It didn't start
What
getting.
Is Cassian? What is that?
It's a guy. It's a guy.
Yeah,
I just finished episode 3. I think it's getting it now. It's getting good.
Okay.
Now it's getting good. I don't know if
House of the Dragon.
So okay, chill, because I've only, let's relax, because I've only seen the first 2.
That's a loaded question.
Yeah, because I've only seen the first 2 episodes, and I liked it. I fell asleep in the 3rd episode just because I was tired, not because the episode was bad. It is, because a lot of people are like, yeah, but you know, like she did this, and I'm like, shut up, shut your mouth. I don't want to hear anything about it.
Did you watch Game of Thrones?
Of course I did.
Daenerys Targaryen.
I know. The mother of dragons, right?
Bro, I know 3 Cuban girls named Daenerys.
But how old are they, though?
Who cares? They're all the mother of dragon.
The mother of dragon ladies.
Anyways, Andor, solid. I'm not sure yet. I'll give you another update.
Is it like /or
no, Andor? So
Andor.
Andor.
Yo, by the way, I heard on the Chapo Trap House podcast the new Avatar movie, Avatar 2. If you go watch it, make sure that you like it, because it's illegal not to like it, because they spent too much money on it. So if you say that you don't like it, they're gonna come for you. So
did the movie already come out?
I don't know, but it's coming out. So just make sure.
The first one.
Make sure that nobody knows if you don't like it.
The first one, I actually went to the movie theaters 3 times to watch it.
Wow.
I really enjoyed it.
I'm so disappointed.
Why? I really enjoyed it. I still watch it now from time to time.
Really?
Yeah.
Bro, I saw a movie in the theaters and I was like, wow. Dude, it's like a video game. Like the amount of
but what's wrong with that?
I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it.
Okay.
I'm just saying that like the amount of effort, the amount of collective effort that goes into a product like that is madness. It's like hundreds of restaurants duck pressing. It's nuts, dude.
I mean, but why is okay?
It's just mind blowing. I'm not saying it's good or bad or anything. I'm just saying it's fucking mind blowing.
Sure.
That like, dude.
I mean, look at what Amazon spent on the new Lord of the Rings thing.
You know where all of Game of Thrones was filmed?
That like New Zealand, New Mexico. I don't know.
Davie. And House of the Dragon is all filmed in Davie as well.
It was not filmed in Davie. Okay,
well, agree to disagree.
Fake
you obviously
news.
haven't watched
Fake news. Fake news here on Pongo Podcast. The House of the Dragon was not filmed in Davie.
Obviously, didn't see the scenes that were shot at the Roundup.
Yes. When you ride the Bright Line on the way up, you can see King's Landing on your right.
That's why it looks an awful lot like that country music club.
This has been great.
I'm gonna make a couple of recommendations here. They are both in a shock to absolutely no one. They were both YouTube videos. One of them is from Channel 5 with Andrew Callahan, which used to be called All Gas No Brakes.
Mm-hmm.
The title of the video is very simply Will Blunderfield. And it is a 20-minute...
Does it have a question mark after?
Nope, just Will Blunderfield. And it is a 20-minute documentary-style video that consists mostly of interviews and footage with this guy who's like some kind of a life and wellness coach whose main focus is the Reiki energy that flows through your balls.
Let me just say something real quick.
I'm really jacked up to watch this documentary. Actually, Billy Corbin.
Listen, I'm in the middle.
Really?
Of my, I'm in the middle of my recommendations. Okay? You need to relax.
He hated that.
He hated that. My last thing, my second recommendation, is from Joe Budden TV.
I love that.
It is the first episode of Joe Budden's new podcast called Humans, which is a shitty name.
Never met the rapper that loved himself more.
But the first episode of Joe Budden's podcast is an interview.
Joe loves himself a lot.
Is an interview with Rob O'Neill, who is the Navy SEAL who killed Bin Laden.
Holy shit!
So it's fascinating to watch.
We've never seen any photos.
It's crazy to watch Joe Budden, in a conversation with Rob O'Neill.
And who's Rob O'Neill?
The Navy SEAL who killed Bin Laden.
Well, supposedly we don't have any photos.
Right. According to Rob O'Neill, if they would ever release the photos, it's his hands holding Bin Laden's head together for the photo.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
I'll
believe it when I see it.
Yeah, but even if you don't believe it, even if you don't believe that he killed Bin Laden or that Bin Laden's dead or any of that, it's most of the conversation is about. I think it's about stuff that the two of you would kind of relate to, in the sense that like it's an interesting angle on like what motivates somebody, what keeps somebody going through tough tasks, what keeps somebody focused on a goal, and so on and so forth. Like there's I've never been shy about saying that I'm like the most obnoxious anarcho-capitalist person in the room. So like I have my own issues with with the military and all things connected to the state.
Did you cash your stimulus check?
No, I did not.
Okay, this is the wrap up of the whole podcast.
No, we can have that whole conversation also. But in any case. I think that there's a lot of interesting stuff to be gleaned from this particular Navy SEAL.
Having my name on the podcast sandwich.
You failed?
I have failed.
This was the thing that made you question your name on the sandwich?
This is you know what? I want to say something before we wrap up. I think that there's a place for Pan Con Podcast. I mean, for Tea Time with Mike and Mike.
Oh yeah,
to focus specifically on Miami F&B, and I would love to fucking find a way to highlight local, to focus on Miami F&B with you and interview them. If there's ever opportunity for that on your platform,
why is this
I want to do that.
Is this an interview?
No,
Are you interviewing for your job?
I'm telling both of you. Like, I think that there's I think that I honestly believe that Miami is the best city in the world, man. And I think that the amount of talent that Miami has is serious, and the amount of money that's coming into Miami between Art Basel at one end of the year and Formula One at the other end of the year makes it important that people are shining light on people like fucking Peacock Ramen and Halachi dumplings and people that are fucking that have their pop-ups going on that are hustling to try and make some dope shit happen, but whatever, that are doing what they're doing. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I think that we did something beautiful in highlighting people like that back in the day. And I want to shine some light at those people. And I love you, my G. And I love you too, Nick. And we're gonna fucking and I hope that we can continue to support Miami F&B, because Miami F&B supported us and made it possible for us to get to where we're at.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Are we
this has
doing
been
a-
another
are we doing a lightning
exciting
round here?
episode.
Yeah, lightning round.
Tea time.
I want to
with
thank
Mike
Mike
and
Ortiz for coming on Panko Podcast. For everyone who pays us $1, it's only $1.
Hey, I never get any of that. Yo, I'm gonna hook you up with my my account number.
I've also
and I
never
expect
gotten
to
any
see
of
a
that
part
money
of that dollar,
I've
dog.
also never gotten any of that money. It's not
where's
about
this
the
money
money.
going?
It's not about the money. Right, it goes to taxes and stuff. I don't know.
Yo, go to the Patreon. What is that on Patreon?
Patreon.
Go to the
always.
Patreon and give
If
these
anyone
gentlemen
actually
your
wants to
money.
listen to this shit show after the fact, we're gonna do a lightning round, right? Okay. A lightning round of 5 questions with Mike Ortiz, which will probably be another 2 hours long. And
Best day of my life.
I will say we've been very disciplined here. We're like an hour. And
thank
40
you all for coming and visiting us on Panko Podcast. This is Mike Beltrán, and we're out.